She almost never came back to grass. That sounds impossible now. Not after the way she moves across the surface today. Not after the confidence. Not after the clean ball striking, the low skidding forehand, the effortless changes of direction, the sharp footwork that suddenly makes her look born for this stage. But 2 years ago, Alexandra Eala sat alone inside a locker room questioning whether grass courts were simply a puzzle she would never solve. And that moment matters now more than ever. Because this afternoon in Birmingham is not just another semi-final. It is not simply another ranking opportunity. It is not even just another important week in the career of a rising star. This is the kind of match that changes the shape of an entire future. One win away from a seeded position at the championships, Wimbledon. One win away from protected draws. One win away from avoiding the world's elite in the early rounds of the biggest grass court tournament on earth. One win away from a career shift so massive that people in Philippine tennis circles may talk about this afternoon for the next 20 years. And standing across the net from her is the most dangerous type of opponent imaginable. The kind people underestimate. Because if you look quickly at the draw sheet, the matchup almost seems harmless. Rebecca Mazarova. World ranking outside the top 100. No giant headlines surrounding her. No superstar aura. No terrifying seeding beside her name. But rankings can lie. And grass courts have always loved liars. That is what makes this so fascinating. The tennis world keeps treating Mazarova like a player drifting quietly through the margins of the tour. But 11 months ago, she was ranked number 62 in the world. And the version of Mazarova that existed at number 62 was dangerous enough to beat elite opponents on major stages. Not occasionally dangerous. Genuinely dangerous. The kind of player who can suddenly walk into a tournament and start making seeded opponents look uncomfortable within minutes. The kind of player whose serve alone can distort the emotional rhythm of an entire match. The kind of player who does not need sustained brilliance to destroy momentum. Only 20 explosive minutes. And on grass, 20 explosive minutes can feel fatal. That is why this semi-final feels so deceptive. Because casual fans see a ranking. Alexandra Eala sees a storm. The strange thing about Mazarova's career is that nobody seems fully capable of explaining it anymore. Even analysts sound uncertain when they discuss her. One week she looks like a future top 20 player rediscovering her ceiling. The next week she collapses so dramatically that people start questioning whether confidence itself has become her biggest opponent. And perhaps the most unsettling part is how quickly those shifts happen. This season alone, she produced stretches of tennis in Rome that forced coaches and commentators to completely re-evaluate her level. Everything clicked. The serve exploded through the court. The first strike tennis looked elite. She attacked the net fearlessly. Points ended before opponents could establish rhythm. There were moments where she looked untouchable. Like a player operating several ranking tiers above where she officially belonged. People inside tennis noticed immediately. Because high-level players recognize dangerous timing before fans do. They recognize the feeling of a player suddenly seeing the court clearly again. And for a brief stretch in Rome, Mazarova looked terrifying. Then came the collapse. Another tournament. Another week. Same player. Completely different reality. A double bagel defeat. 0 games won. 0. Not a close loss. Not a competitive collapse. Total emotional and tactical disintegration. That is not normal inconsistency anymore. That is volatility at a psychological level that makes opponents deeply uncomfortable. Because how do you prepare for someone whose ceiling and floor exist in completely different universes? And more importantly, which version walks onto the court today? That question sits over this semi-final like a thundercloud. Because if the explosive version of Mazarova appears, this match becomes dangerous immediately. Her serve alone can tilt grass court matches violently. This week, her first serve has operated like a loaded weapon. When it lands, opponents barely touch it. The numbers are extraordinary for someone ranked outside the top 100. She has won between 72 and 89% of first serve points throughout the tournament. Those are elite numbers, top player numbers. And grass magnifies those strengths brutally. The ball stays low. The skid becomes sharper. Reaction time disappears. One good service game suddenly feels emotionally enormous. Players begin rushing, guessing, panicking. That is exactly the ecosystem where Mazarova becomes dangerous. Fast points, fast holds, fast momentum, chaos. She thrives inside chaos. And yet, despite all of that danger, there is a reason people close to Alexandra Eala quietly believe this matchup actually favors her. Because Eala is not simply playing better tennis right now. She is solving grass court problems intelligently. That distinction matters a lot. Earlier in her career, grass exposed uncomfortable weaknesses in her game. The movement looked uncertain. Her timing occasionally arrived late. The low bounce disrupted her natural strike zone. There were moments where she looked hesitant, like someone asking permission from the surface instead of controlling it. And internally, those struggles hit harder than most people realized. Because athletes rarely fear hard work. What they fear is feeling incompatible with something. And for a while, grass made Eala feel incompatible. That feeling can become dangerous mentally, especially for young players still discovering who they are on tour. Some athletes eventually decide certain surfaces simply are not for them. They survive them, endure them, escape them, but they never truly belong there. Alexandra Eala refused to accept that outcome. That refusal may become one of the defining decisions of her career. Because instead of running from discomfort, she rebuilt herself around it. Quietly, patiently, without headlines. Footwork sessions, balance drills, hours learning how to stay low through contact, hours understanding how grass rewards aggression only when movement remains disciplined, hours studying how to attack without overhitting. None of it looked glamorous. Most of it happened far away from cameras. But this week in Birmingham, the results became impossible to ignore. She no longer looks like someone adapting to grass. That transformation changes this semi-final completely. Because while Mazarova's game depends heavily on emotional momentum, Eala's game suddenly looks built around emotional control. That difference becomes crucial in pressure moments. And the pressure surrounding this match is enormous. A win here changes everything. Not metaphorically, literally. The ranking points available in Birmingham could elevate Eala into Wimbledon seeding territory. Something Philippine tennis has never experienced before. Think about what that actually means. For years, Filipino tennis players entering Grand Slams often faced brutal early round draws. No protection. No buffer. No status. Just immediate survival against higher-ranked opponents. A seed changes that entire reality. It means respect, positioning, strategic protection inside the draw. It means avoiding elite contenders early. It means genuine opportunities to build momentum in majors. And psychologically, it changes how the tennis world sees you. Seeded players are no longer viewed as exciting outsiders. They become expected contenders. That shift matters commercially too. Sponsors notice it. Media notices it. Tournament directors notice it. Everything changes. And all of that possibility now hangs on one semi-final afternoon in Birmingham. Which is why the psychological battle today feels just as important as the tactical one. Because Mazarova does possess one quality that statistics cannot fully measure. Chaos energy. Pure chaos energy. When matches begin slipping away, she does not always retreat emotionally. Sometimes she becomes even more aggressive, more reckless, more explosive. She serves and volleys fearlessly. She attacks impossible angles. She swings harder under pressure instead of safer. Sometimes it looks irrational. Sometimes it looks brilliant. And on grass, irrational brilliance can suddenly become unstoppable for short stretches. That is why Eala cannot relax emotionally even if she gains control. Especially if she wins the first set. Because Mazarova has already come back from difficult positions multiple times this week. She survives through momentum fractures. One loose service game. One emotional dip. One distracted sequence. Suddenly the match changes shape completely. But this is where Alex Eala's recent evolution becomes fascinating. Earlier in her career, emotional momentum swings sometimes pulled her into rushed decision-making. She could become impatient, over-aggressive, frustrated. That version of Eala still appears occasionally, especially during difficult stretches. But Birmingham has revealed something different. Something calmer. Against Manankaya Sawanki in the quarterfinals, Eala produced one of the smartest tactical performances of her season. Not the flashiest, the smartest. And that difference matters. Because Sawanki represented the exact kind of aggressive opponent capable of exposing emotional instability. Instead, Eala controlled the match almost clinically. She redirected pace intelligently, extended rallies intentionally, used low skidding shots beautifully, forced awkward movement patterns. Most importantly, she refused to panic. That patience becomes devastating against players like Mazarova. Because underneath all the explosive shot-making and serving power lies one enormous structural weakness. Extended rallies. The numbers are not subtle. When points end quickly, Mazarova dominates. 3 shots or fewer. She wins the majority. That is her preferred ecosystem. Serve. Attack. Finish. Explode. But once rallies extend deeper into 6, 8, 10 shots, her success rate collapses dramatically. Not slightly. Dramatically. Below 30%. That is not just a weakness. That is a cliff edge. And Alex Eala knows exactly how to push opponents toward it. She does not need to overpower Mazarova. She needs to exhaust her emotionally. That is a completely different tactical objective. Instead of trading reckless power, Eala can stretch the court. Use depth. Use angle. Use low skidding balls into uncomfortable contact zones. Force one extra shot. Then another. Then another. Every extended exchange slowly shifts pressure onto Mazarova's decision-making. And pressure has historically become dangerous territory for her. This is where previous history between the two players becomes quietly important. They have met before. March 2025. Indoor hard courts in Slovakia. Alex Eala won in straight sets. Different surface. Different moment. Different stakes. But matches leave emotional residue. Players remember how opponents made them feel. They remember frustration. They remember discomfort. And somewhere inside Mazarova's memory exists the feeling of Alex Eala already solving her patterns once before. That matters more than casual fans realize. Because tennis players carry emotional history onto the court with them. Every pressure point awakens memory. Every long rally reopens previous frustrations. And if Eala begins extending exchanges successfully today, those old mental scars may return quickly. Especially on grass, where confidence can disappear violently once rhythm breaks. But perhaps the most remarkable part of this entire story is how much Eala herself has changed psychologically since those difficult grass court days 2 years ago. Back then, she was searching for belonging. Now she walks onto grass courts expecting to win. That difference changes everything. Confidence alters movement, decision-making, shot tolerance, recovery speed, even body language. And this week in Birmingham, Eala's body language has looked incredibly strong. Calm between points. Composed under pressure. Emotionally balanced. The bigger the stakes become, the more focused she seems. That trait separates good players from dangerous ones. Because some athletes shrink when moments become enormous. Others sharpen. Eala increasingly looks like the second type. Which is why this semi-final feels so important emotionally for Philippine tennis. This is no longer just a promising young player having a nice tournament run. This is a potential turning point for an entire sporting culture. Filipino fans understand that. You can feel it everywhere around Birmingham this week. The flags, the chants, the emotional investment. People are not simply supporting a tennis player anymore. They are supporting representation, possibility, proof that someone from the Philippines can stand on the edge of elite tennis territory and belong there fully. That emotional weight would crush many athletes. But strangely, Eala seems to absorb energy from it. The pressure that might paralyze others appears to sharpen her concentration. That is rare. And honestly, it may become one of her greatest long-term strengths if it continues developing this way. Because the spotlight around her is only going to grow. A Wimbledon seed would change everything. Media attention would explode. Expectations would intensify. Every match would carry heavier emotional significance. And the tennis world would begin treating her not as a rising talent, but as a genuine contender. That transformation begins here. One match. One afternoon. One opportunity standing open like a doorway. And the doorway will not stay open forever. That reality makes this feel cinematic in ways sports sometimes accidentally become. Because when you zoom out, the story almost feels scripted. A young Filipina player who once questioned whether grass courts would ever suit her now stands one victory away from becoming seeded at Wimbledon. On the very surface she nearly gave up on. Against an opponent dangerous enough to destroy the dream if concentration slips even briefly. The tension almost writes itself. And somewhere inside the locker room at Edgbaston Priory Club, Alexandra Eala is preparing for the biggest grass court match of her life. She knows the numbers. She knows the patterns. She knows the danger. She knows exactly how explosive Mazarova can become when confidence catches fire. But she also knows something else now. She belongs here. Not as a visitor. Not as a surprise story. Not as a lucky outsider. As a real threat. That belief changes the emotional gravity of this semi-final completely. Because now, instead of trying to survive grass courts, Alexandra Eala is trying to conquer them. And if she succeeds today, the entire trajectory of her career may bend permanently upward from this one afternoon in Birmingham. The grass is immaculate. The crowd understands history is close. The sun hangs quietly over England. And somewhere beyond the noise and pressure and expectations, a young Filipina player who once sat in a locker room doubting herself is about to walk onto the court believing she can change everything. One match. Everything on the line. And maybe, just maybe, the beginning of something much bigger than anyone imagined.